Well, we are back again with the Bleacher Preacher podcast. It's NFL offseason season. Yeah, it's Jonathan here once again. I got Rob once again. Wow.
Yo, what up?
All right, buddy. NFL rumor season. It's always a great time. Literally 10 minutes ago, we found out Antonio Brown is going to be traded to the Buffalo Bills. That's a big move considering AB was a consensus number one receiver in the NFL. He was my top pick in fantasy every year. Now what am I going to do?
Well, you can go ahead and pick. No, I'll take that back. Do not pick Julio because that's my number one pick in fantasy every year. Do not take Julio.
No, that's Mario's pick to spite you and then try and hold it above you for a trade chip.
The past 4 seasons we've done fantasy football as a group, as this one group, I've had Julio 3 out of the 4 years. And the other year, he kept trying to make trades with me, and it was just like, no, I'm good. So whatever. Oh, well.
So just kind of looking at, and I know you have no problem laughing at this, Pittsburgh at one point had a top 5 quarterback, a top 3 receiver.
Whoa.
I'm speaking in generalities. We'll talk about actual rankings later. A top 3 running back and a pretty good defense. You know how many players?
Whoa.
I'm talking probably the last, let's say, 5 to 7 years.
You're giving them a lot of credit.
I am, because it's going to get pretty ugly here in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, now that Antonio Brown has been traded, and now that Le'Veon Bell is officially a free agent, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are top 5 at their position. Now,
you've come a long way.
Big Ben is not a top 5 quarterback. That statement made no sense to me.
You've been petitioning to say that Big Ben has been on the decline now for years. Not just 1 year, years.
Now, let's see what happens now that Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are not on that team. Let's just see what happens to Big Ben now.
No more chuck it up balls to Antonio. I mean, Juju's going to command a lot of coverage now. I mean, how good is James Conner going to be like on a full-time basis in his second season? Because we even saw James Conner, he was getting dinged up towards the end of last season.
Yeah, all right. James Conner, James Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster. That's not Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Not at all.
That sounds like third place in the AFC North right now.
Yeah.
And that's only because the Bengals are shit.
Cleveland's coming on strong. Cleveland's going to be actually fun to watch this year. I'm proud of Cleveland. Great job. You're not a shithole anymore. Good job.
Didn't your team move from Cleveland to Baltimore?
Yeah, they still are mad about that, which, okay, oh well. But
get over it.
You got the Browns, sure.
So the point I'm trying to get to about the whole Steelers thing, you had this grouping of elite position players, and they only got to the AFC Championship game once.
Yeah, I mean,
their last playoff appearance was a loss to Blake Bortles.
Handedly, convincingly lost to Blake Bortles.
That was a great day for you to follow Rob on Twitter. And if you guys don't follow Rob on Twitter, at RobBPP _BPP.
Yeah, man. Blake Bortles is about to get replaced in Jacksonville, and he looked like a star against Pittsburgh.
I can't even say it's the death of a dynasty, because a dynasty assumes you actually won something.
When was the last time they won a championship? 2010. 2010 against the Packers, was it?
No, the Packers won that Super Bowl. The Steelers lost.
Oh, it was Arizona.
That was 2009. Yeah, 2009 was the last one they won. No, 2008. 2008, because 2009 was the Saints one.
Yeah,
that was my first year at UNLV. Wow.
It's been a while for him, I guess. You know what else? It's going to be a while for them moving forward. This has been a good offseason.
Ever since Lamar Jackson was named the Ravens starter, things are looking better and better for the Baltimore faithful.
Yeah, Llama God.
Future looks good, but one move, from this offseason was Joe Flacco was, traded out. He's now a Denver Bronco, and now's your chance, Rob, for your little eulogy for one Joe Flacco.
Greatest quarterback in Baltimore Raven history, probably a top 5 Raven of all time.
It's best playoff run I've seen out of a single quarterback.
It's probably the greatest playoff run of all time. He beat Andrew Luck. He then beat Peyton Manning in Denver before Peyton Manning lost the ability to throw a football more than 15 feet. And then he beat Brady. And then he beat San Francisco and his brother. The last time San Francisco was good, he beat Colin Kaepernick in the Super Bowl. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, the Mile High Miracle, and now he's going to Mile High like that. That was a great Super Bowl run. Probably, in my bet, the greatest Super Bowl run of all time. I know Drew Brees had a really good run in, I believe, the 2009 one, and then one of Joe Montana's years. And it's just, it's hard to move on, but it was coming. It's been coming. He's been in a decline since the Super Bowl. They gutted the team after 2012, and he just hasn't had really that number one wide receiver, that weapon. They've tried. They tried this year, but then he got hurt. Lamar Jackson's the new guy there, and it's just he's got to move on. Can't get attached. He's always going to be – he's probably going to make the Baltimore Ring of Honor. I still have his jersey. It'll be great. Don't worry. He's just going to – the ball's going to fly in Denver. No tears. Just going to move on. Great memories.
Tip of the cap and a wish of good luck. So, speaking of Lamar Jackson, we do have a interesting batch of quarterbacks that are still available. And I say available in quotations because the Arizona Cardinals won't come out and say that they're taking Kyler Murray number 1 overall yet because they still have Josh Rosen. Supposedly, the asking price of Rosen has been as low as a third and has gone as high as multiple firsts. If you're a GM, Rob, what do you do with someone like Josh Rosen, who was in a really tough situation with the Cardinals last year? And if you can get him on a better team, I think you get a much better showing and a pretty good talent at the quarterback position.
So if I'm Arizona, I take Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Josh Rosen. And I think with the way that they want to run their offense and set their offense up, I think Kyler Murray's the pick. Now, if I'm Arizona, I hold out for a number 1 pick for Josh Rosen. If you're a team like now Kyler Murray's going to be off the board. There's one quarterback worth a first-round grade, in my opinion. That's Dwayne Haskins. Now, you have the Giants sitting at 6, Jaguars sitting at 7. Those are the 2 teams that need a quarterback. There's still Denver in the first round. There's still like Washington, who made a trade, but they're still in the first round. Lower teams, as well as Miami. Those 3 teams might get a little jumpy, but I think it's either the Giants or the Jaguars. One of those teams should jump on Josh Rosen. They need to make an evaluation. Do I like Josh Rosen better? Do I like Dwayne Haskins better? If Josh Rosen was in this draft, he would clear-cut be the number 3 quarterback behind Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray, but he's not too far behind Dwayne Haskins. I actually put Dwayne Haskins and Josh Rosen more so on the same tier, on the same level, while Kyler Murray's ahead of them. So I think a team should jump like the Giants or the Jaguars.
And also, you did mention the Jaguars towards the end. Supposedly, they're the favorites to get Nick Foles. Do you think Nick Foles gets the Jaguars back into the playoffs?
Even if it is Nick Foles, I don't think that's a long-term option.
Nick Foles, I believe, just turned 30.
So, I mean, quarterbacks are starting to play until their late 30s, close to 40, 42 if you're Tom Brady. But I would think I would rather have 10 years of Josh Rosen and then instead of 10 years of Nick Foles. Now, sure, you can maybe go ahead and if the Jaguars' plan is like to go out and get a Dwayne Haskins or somebody like that, or just sit and wait, and see which option falls on the table, sure, that's fine. Nick Foles is an upgrade over Blake Bortles, but I still don't think Nick Foles gets you to win a Super Bowl.
Well, you also have to think Nick Foles comes from a very successful system in Philly. He had weapons. He had the support around him. It's not going to be the same kind of support system down in Jacksonville because Leonard Fournette looked pretty slow last year, and yeah, he might have been banged up, but there was minimal help on the outside, and that's if you bring in Nick Foles, you're going to have to bring someone along with him to catch the ball.
Yeah, like they released Allen Hurns. Allen Robinson left in free agency. So Marquise Lee is good. He got hurt, but Marquise Lee is good. D.D. Westbrook emerged last season. He's good. Those are two good guys, but that's not. I don't think none of those guys are number one receivers. Leonard Fournette on his good day is a number one running back. Is a top 10 running back in the league, but he's also runs with such a violent style to where he's probably going to miss 2 to 3 to 4 games a season just by getting banged up, just the way he runs. He relishes contact. He gets stronger after getting hit, but getting hit too many times is also going to lead you to some injuries. So I don't think he's going to put in a full 16 games. You have a base there, but I don't think that it's as good as what that Philly offense was in 2017, especially with John DeFilippo as the OC and a really good scheme, really good weapons. And I just don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to have the same success with Nick Foles, especially if you play Nick Foles $20-25 million a year. That's just not something that I'm willing to do if I'm Jacksonville.
And we just saw Jacksonville kind of have to make some salary adjustments here because they went short term with the contracts they were handing out. And last season they took a big step back, and they did re-sign Blake Bortles to I believe it was like a 3-year extension last year or a 3-year deal, something along those lines.
Yeah, he's making like 20 mil,
which isn't the worst contract to get off your books, but at the same time, you're gonna have to balance this out to where you can start investing in other positions, to kind of help out the offense, because defense, yeah, they're solid, they're set up front, but they struggled mightily to score yet last year. And outside of a few games, I think for the most part, they were under 20, 24, 21 points. A lot of games I saw, at least.
Yeah, and Jalen Ramsey's going to be a free agent soon. Jalen Ramsey's entering his 3rd year, right?
Fourth.
So if he's entering his 4th year, he's entering his 3rd year. He's
same year as Zeke. When did the Ravens draft Ronnie Stanley? Because that was the draft we watched at my house.
Yeah, Stanley's entering his 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah, so because he's contract eligible, contract extension eligible. No, he's entering his 4th year. Marlon Humphrey's entering his 3rd year. Yeah, Stanley. Wow. Oh, Stanley needs a new contract soon. Oh God, Stanley's gonna get paid. Oh yeah, but you got to pay Jalen Ramsey. You got to pay Miles Jack. They're both eligible for contract extensions. They're both going to be free agents soon. You need to pay them. Malik Jackson is probably gone. He's probably going to end up being a cap casualty. They re-signed Telvin Smith. Marcel Darius took a pay cut to get back to Jacksonville. Calais Campbell is on a big contract. They're starting to run out of real estate. They're starting to run out of capital, and they kind of need to turn it around soon, because in 3 years they won't be able to afford everybody, and they're going to start losing talent. The lifespan of being a contender is very short in the NFL.
You don't say.
Yeah.
It is very true. We saw it happen to the Broncos after they won the Super Bowl. We saw the Panthers after they lost in the Super Bowl kind of crumble apart after that.
Philly.
The Hawks, Philly.
The Broncos.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think everybody but Chris Harris has gone off the starting defense now. I think it's Chris Harris, Eric Wolf, and Von Miller.
Yeah, so like
secondary. I meant to say secondary, but yes, it's definitely a far cry.
Darian Stewart got released.
It's It's tough, man. And, look at a team like the Vikings. Their window could be closing here pretty fast as well after they paid Kirk Cousins all that money.
Yeah, because apparently Everson Griffin is on the trade block. Anthony Barr is gone. He's a free agent. He's not getting re-signed. He's going to go get big money elsewhere. That's two defensive captains that might be gone from the Minnesota defense because of money. And it's because they had to pay to go get a quarterback.
They paid to go get a quarterback and didn't necessarily get the return they were hoping for off their first year with it. Granted, there's what, two years left on this deal?
2 years left, something like that. Washington traded for Case Keenum. Case Keenum got replaced by Kirk Cousins, who left Washington.
Time is a flat circle, man.
It's funny how that circle just, Washington didn't want a quarterback, so they went out and traded for a quarterback that was replaced by the quarterback that they didn't want, while also paying Alex Smith and having Alex Smith almost lose his life. But yeah, I digress.
You never go full Redskins, and they went full Redskins. Stay in the AFC East. What is going on with Odell? Is he going to leave? Are the Giants really going to trade Odell Beckham?
I hope not. Odell, Saquon on the same team. That's just like, look, remember what happened in Pittsburgh with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell? You have that same type of talent with Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley. Yeah. So, like, the Giants just need a quarterback. Eli, they either need a top 5 offensive line of all time, or they need a better quarterback.
They retooled their offensive line. They signed Nate Solder to big money last season, and it still made no difference because Eli's a statue back there.
They replaced the turnstile in Eric Flowers with another turnstile in Nate Solder that needs some WD-40 because he doesn't turn too much and let enough people in. So it's better, but it's still somebody that lets people in, And
it blows my mind because Nate Solder was exceptional in New England. And then he leaves for big money, and it's just gone.
You get paid. You get older, and you get paid. And football you don't get better.
One more. Trent Brown, the starting left tackle from the Patriots this past season. He's the top available tackle on the market this year. Go get him, New York.
Yeah.
The man is 6'7", 6'8", and like 370. He's massive.
Go throw a 2nd round and a 4th round at Oakland for Derek Carr. Or throw a 2nd round and a 4th round pick for Josh Rosen and take the best offensive lineman available at 6. Go get a Jonah Williams or somebody like that to come be a bookend tackle. Just get some help. That's all we want the Giants to get some help. They're going to cut ties with Olivier Vernon. He's making a lot of money. They'd already cut ties with Snacks. He's in Detroit. The safety Collins. Landon Collins is probably a top 10 safety in the league. He's going to leave for big money as well. They're starting to lose good players, and they need to find an answer soon before they get stuck in a rebuilding phase. While when you get a top 5 running back, you get a top 5 wide receiver, and you maybe find a serviceable quarterback, a middle of the pack that can properly take you into the playoffs, but then you're starting to lose talent because you're running out of time and money. So it's that balancing act of getting a good cheap rookie quarterback deal or something like that and getting everybody on cheap money and filling it out with veterans and whatnot, but they're just not on the same timetable. They just got to figure that out.
I still secretly blame this on the picture before the playoffs. All the Giants players went down to Miami. Apparently, let's all just go down and take our shirts off. Throw on some Timbs and let's flex a little bit. I want to say they've only won like 13 games since that photo 3 years ago. It's not good. That's really not good.
Yeah, that was a weird. The Giants are kind of weird.
again, it's like you have everything. You have it. You have the franchise running back. You have the franchise receiver. You just got to fix the quarterback. Once you fix the quarterback, everything else should start to fall into place, and you can kind of retool the defense on the fly.
I
As long as
mean,
you're able to throw up points.
take a page from Baltimore. Baltimore traded back in the first round pick to go get a young quarterback and then traded away their franchise, the greatest franchise quarterback of all time. They traded him away this offseason. Pull a Baltimore, New York.
We've seen crazier things happen. Let's see what other Nuggets. We did mention his name a little bit earlier. So this Kyler Murray nonsense. Apparently, he didn't measure 5'10" and 3/4 at the combine.
There's a lot of rumors going around that I think it started on the Dan Patrick show that somebody was able to fidge his height. I don't know how they did that. So the way the scouting combine does height is you're literally standing in front of scouts from every team. Your feet are together. Everybody has a clear view of your feet and you're measured. I don't know how you can fidge that unless you know the tape measure is off. The guy doing the performance was or doing the height review was paid off. The NFL was paid off. Blah blah blah. Something I don't get how this could happen. Like you would have to pay off so many people to actually fidge this. Like I don't understand this.
It does fall in line with the narrative that Kyler Murray just wanted to go in, get measured, and then leave. He chose not to throw. He chose, to not do any of the other drills, and he showed up in Indianapolis and left a couple hours later, and like, all right, bye. So no one could really get that much of a look at him.
And even then, he's gonna get weighed and he's gonna get measured and he's gonna throw and he's gonna run in his pro day. I just hope that the height that he gets recorded in his pro day is different than the height of the combine. I 100% hope the two things are different. I just want to see the shitstorm that's going to happen on Twitter and the blogs and and all everybody around the world if the heights don't match. I think he was 5'10" and an eighth. I want him to be like 5'11". Like I want like a big discrepancy.
Oh boy, not too many years you have a height controversy like this.
Or
I
like
remember a lot of people made a big deal about Johnny Manziel's height at his pro day and combine performances. And the same thing last year with Baker Mayfield.
yeah, I think Kyler Murray was 5'10" and an eighth and weighed in at 205 pounds. I hope he comes in and he's like 5'11" and like 192 pounds or something like that. Like just something completely different from the combine.
Like everyone at the pro day is like, wait, you got one answer? I got this one. Like, where'd you get yours? I got mine from him.
He's
Like,
8 pounds lighter and an inch taller. I don't know what happened from the pro day and the combine, but he's literally a different person. That would be perfect.
There's an imposter of Kyler Murray going out there.
He's probably gonna run a 4.4. He's a really good athlete. He's gonna run a 4.40.
Well, I think I mentioned to you this the other day. If you're the Oakland A's, just drop all scouting reports like this is what we have on him, guys. So
Hey, yeah, we measured him at 5'7" and 3/4.
where are you
and
guys
100
getting 5'10" from?
and he weighed in at 178 pounds. Where did you guys get 205 from?
This is also going to sound random just because I'm thinking of baseball. Why doesn't Jameis Winston just go back to baseball already?
I don't know because he's not a good NFL quarterback. That's somebody that should trade for Josh Rosen right there, Tampa Bay.
Because it's not Jameis.
I mean, Jameis, I feel like is still a serviceable quarterback. He's just not a top 15 quarterback. And now he's getting to the point where you're going to have to pay him top 15 money. It's just not worth it. Same thing with Mariota.
And that thing about top 15 money, look what it did for Stafford. Look what it did for Dalton. It crippled the team's cap.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know what you do with Mariota and what you do with Winston because I don't think the Titans and the Buccaneers can just go through another 3 to 5 year rebuild and look for another quarterback. They did that. They got the number 1, number 2 picks, and they got Mariota and Winston. that's what they needed. It's just it didn't pan out.
And even like that was a draft where we thought these guys would at least be somewhat successful, but it's very sporadic at best.
Did the news for the AB trade come in? Who Buffalo gave up?
So as of right now, because I've been checking Twitter every couple of minutes, the latest development is that AB went on Instagram and said fake news under the NFL's comment about AB nearing a deal to Buffalo.
He does
So
not
either
want
he's
to
in
be,
serious denial or
he does not want to be in Buffalo.
I think if it's official, do you think he retires? Like, I'm not doing this.
He said on his interview that, you know, he's made a ton of money and he's been smart on his money and he's an entrepreneur, which those are kind of like red flags. Like,
I think the red flag for me is when he wanted to be called Mr. Big Chest. That's what did it for me.
it's not, I don't think like a lot of like the hairstyle, the mustache, like the wide receivers are divas. I don't really think it was too big of a red flag. It's just that there's places where people just don't want to play, and you know that's a red flag for a team. Like, okay, maybe you know it could be any team. It could be like Kansas City. It's like, oh yeah, he grew up hating Kansas City. He doesn't want to play there. You know, so like that could be a team that there's a red flag. He doesn't want to play against City because he'll just leave. That's a red flag, but it's not something that's just a major red flag for every team. It's just specific teams. Like, really, who wants to play in Buffalo? Like, honestly, who wants to go play in Buffalo?
Nobody. That's the thing. I think it's, if not the oldest, the most outdated stadium in the NFL. I mean, yeah, you have great fans, great atmosphere, but not a whole lot of success, and facilities are subpar. It's one of the smallest cities as far as NFL's cities are concerned.
I think they have a good team.
They have good play. They have good pieces. I like Tre'Davious White. I like Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah,
Yep.
Edmonds, right?
Yep.
I like him as well. Josh Allen's going to take some time to get going. Their whole defense, I think, is one of the better units in the NFL. It's just they've never been able to put it all together.
Yeah, I don't think they're bad per se. I think they can add some pieces and actually give the Patriots, have the Patriots try in the regular season instead of the Patriots like, yeah, we'll get to the playoffs and we'll run the table with Tom Brady. The Patriots like, okay, wait, maybe we might need to like win 12 games, defend off the Bills so we can win the division. There's a chance that they can actually make the Patriots try.
It's just been having the division wrapped up before Christmas. That's always been like for the Patriots, style of business. Like, okay, let's get this done and over with. I mean, the Jets got their franchise quarterback last year with Sam Darnold. I think he's going to be good. They're heading in the right direction. They have a lot of money to spend. The Dolphins, they're trying to do something with Ryan Tannehill, either cut him or trade him, but he was another one that flamed out. God, what do you do with Ryan Tannehill?
Tannehill's, I think you just cut him. I don't think you get good value in return for him.
Nobody I think he has a huge contract attached to him.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why you're not going to get a lot of value. I think it's going to be easier to just cut him and move in a new direction before Tannehill, that situation goes sour, and you kind of set your franchise back a little bit. I think you just go ahead and cut him. And the Dolphins don't have bad pieces. Kenyon Drake is good. Devontae Parker is good
When healthy.
Granted, the kid they got from New Orleans, the downfield, yeah, Kenny Stills is a good receiver too. There's not bad players in Miami. Jasicki, the tight end they drafted from Penn, he's a good piece too. There's good weapons there. Ryan Tannehill is not the answer.
They got a new coach in Brian Flores, who they got from New England. So, trying to go that route of, okay, let's start picking away at the Patriots. Let's get somebody in here.
Cameron Wake.
I was going to say, if they can bring Trey Flowers down there with them.
Cameron Wake is supposedly leaving. He's going to be a free agent.
Or I think he is 30. I know he's in his mid 30s now.
He's like 37, dude.
Later 30s.
Cameron Wake is old. Robert Quinn, they're looking to either trade or cut Robert Quinn.
They switched teams, right?
Yeah. So Robert Quinn is a 4-3N. You know, he's just had bad luck having his 4-3 team switch to a 3-4, which is why Wake and Quinn are probably gone. They're probably going to look to move towards a 3-4 scheme, which kind of sucks for Quinn being a 4-3N, but he'll find work. I think him and Justin Houston are going to find. They're going to land on like a contender, like a good team, and he's just going to be a pass rusher that comes in pass rushing downs, and he's going to get like 10 sacks this season. You know, I think he'll be fine. He's going to land on his feet somewhere.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What do you do if you're the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you run back the same squad? Do you go out and make a splash in free agency? Or do you get somebody on defense that can make a tackle?
Yeah, I think you address the defense. Their offense is, in my opinion, a top 5 offense in the league, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback on that statement. That's not a controversial statement. Pat Mahomes just won MVP. Tyreek Hill is a dangerous game-breaking talent. Travis Kelce's depending on how you feel, is the best tight end in the league. You know, Gronk, Kittle, Olsen, sure. You know, Ertz is up there as well, but you know, you probably take Kelce and put him up against any of those names, and you more than likely are gonna win most of those days. They don't have Kareem Hunt anymore. He's a Brown. I think they'll be put in a position where they're going to get a good defense or good running back in the draft. There's a kid from Alabama named Josh Jacobs that I like a lot. That is probably going to be available at the end of the first round, and he's going to probably look wonderful in the Chiefs' offense. So, but that's just me spitballing ideas at running back.
I don't know if they'd be able to afford it, but I would love to see them go after Earl Thomas.
Yeah, Earl Thomas and Eric Berry.
Cheap.
A healthy Eric Berry is going to help him so much.
I know he just hit the market as well, but Eric Weddle
will look great for him too. But that would be if, depending on how they use him in the scheme, depending on what they want to do with Eric Berry, is that Weddle kind of plays the same like position as Eric Berry. Both of them are a little bit better as in-box attack missiles at the strong safety positions than actual center field free safeties. So, you know, maybe they can get away with it, but I'd rather have Eric Berry making plays and being a heat-seeking missile than being a free safety.
Just to I'm going to toss out a couple other names, a couple other free agents at you. Ziggy Ansah, Sheldon Richardson, Tyrann Mathieu, Quan Alexander. You can only pick one of them to end up on Baltimore. Who would you take?
If CJ Mosley does not come back, I pick Quan. But if CJ Mosley is coming back, I'd go ahead and go with Tyrann Mathieu. Especially with Weddle now gone. I think Mathieu could do a job as a slot corner, as a fourth corner. Tavon Young is the cornerback, the slot corner. He's the highest paid slot corner in the NFL now. And he's going to do a job. And I think they could probably get away with 3 safeties and 3 corners and have Mathieu kind of just be everywhere on the defense. I think they'll be able to use Mathieu in a good amount of way. They'll play him as a slot corner. They'll play him as a strong safety in the box. They'll blitz him. They'll play him as a free safety. I think Tyrann Mathieu will look dangerous in a Baltimore uniform.
Teddy Bridgewater will be playing quarterback for who next season?
Teddy Bridgewater is going to be I don't know. It's going to be a team that just comes out of nowhere. I don't want to say Washington because Washington just got their quarterback. I think Denver drafts their quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is going to end up on Oakland.
Here's another nugget for you. You see the Bears signed a kicker named Blewett?
Yeah, so having a kicker actually blow it and then going ahead and signing a kicker named Blewett, I just don't think that's good karma.
Oh, that's funny. Now you get to laugh at it. You're a Chicagoan, but you're not one of the many Chicagoans who's a Bears fan. And I know the Bears have a strong. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it like Cubs, Bears, or is it? How's the hierarchy of sports going in Chicago?
It's Cubs, then Bears, because the Bulls have been sucking lately, but normally the Bulls are ahead of the Bears. And then it's Blackhawks, then
Even though they've won them all.
the Chicago Wolves,
The AHL team, okay.
and then maybe the White Sox.
So you have the White Sox above the Chicago Fire.
Yeah, the Fire, they're a shit show. You might not keep up with the MLS, but Chicago Fire is not a good team.
It's also kind of ironic that they are called the Chicago Fire after a terrible, terrible disaster in the 1800s.
Yeah, the Chicago Fire was not a good thing to be named after.
Kind of set the tone for the franchise going forward. Next guy, Ndamukong Suh. Where is he taking his talents?
To a contender, probably, that needs a decent. He's going to New England. No, he's not going to be able to afford it. He's going to go to Indy.
Indy has a lot of money to spend, and they can make a really big splash. Wide receiver Tyrell Williams, he's a free agent. I thought Indy would go after somebody like him. They can pay someone like Trey Flowers a lot of money. They can pay, Landon Collins a lot of money. They're pretty set, and they've, Chris Ballard has done a great job building their roster too. So everyone's on a pretty good deal, and they're pretty young too.
I'd make a splash on offense, and I'd make a splash on defense. I'd sign one big money guy on offense, one big money guy on defense, and then I would spread the wealth and get as much value as you can. I wouldn't sign like 4 or 5 $10 million guys and just stick them on, a certain side of the ball and say, all right, fixed. I will go after one big guy on offense, one big guy on defense, and then fill out your roster with serviceable players.
Well, another team that has a lot of money, we mentioned them earlier, was the Browns. They already made we'll call it a splash when they brought in Kareem Hunt, even though they already have Nick Chubb. But that's another team that can spend a lot of money. I could see them snagging up Suh or somebody else.
I think they need a number one receiver. Jarvis Landry is a good receiver. I love Jarvis Landry, but Jarvis Landry, I think, is better in the slot. If you put Jarvis Landry in the slot, I think you win like 80% of Jarvis Landry's matchups in the slot. And then if you can find a number one receiver on the outside, they got the rookie from Florida. His name blows. What is his name?
Antonio Callaway.
Yeah, Callaway. I know it's Antonio something. Yeah, the kid from Florida. He's a good deep threat. They just need one more guy, one number one receiver there. So Jarvis Landry can work the slot and have Callaway go deep. I think that they're going to look good on offense.
I'm kind of mentioning the Patriots haven't gone along. I know they got a lot of guys to re-sign. They've never really been the ones to go out and spend in free agency, historically. I'd love to see them go and pick up Golden Tate. That's somebody I would love to see in a Patriots uniform.
I think he could fill that slot role, that Edelman role, and just go out and catch 7, 8, 9 balls a game and get 85 to 120 yards. I think he'd be a good pickup. I'd be adverse to spending that much money for a 30-year-old receiver though, but he'd be nice on like a 1 or 2 year deal.
And I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a very short, they'll probably, give him a nice little signing bonus, throw in some incentives as well, but he'll be another complimentary piece that, that New England receiving machine always finds a way to, keep moving along. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Would you rather spend $15 million on Le'Veon Bell, or would you rather go spend $5 million on either Mark Ingram or Tevin Coleman?
Oof, I would easily take Ingram or Coleman just for the fact that they're still in game shape, and I know what I'm going to be getting out of those guys. And
like if I'm the Colts, I'd rather give Ingram and Coleman $5 million each to come play for my team instead of giving.
Poor Tevin Coleman. He just wants to start, man. He's tired of splitting reps.
That's a guy I would love to see get picked up by Baltimore. I think Tevin Coleman would be perfect in Baltimore's offense. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can be the number one running back, and he can be with Lamar and with Gus Edwards to make a dominant rushing attack. I think Tevin Coleman will look great in a Baltimore uniform.
Baltimore about to take football back to the 1970s, running the ball 40-plus times a game.
Look, play good defense so you can't score, and then hold the ball so you don't have a chance to score, period. You either can't score against a really good defense or you can't score because you don't got the ball.
I know it didn't pan out for them in the playoffs, but when I look at their game that they had in Los Angeles against the Chargers, that's where I can see the Ravens doing good things. And we have Hooked on a Feeling playing in the background. Shout out to Blue Sweet.
Yeah,
and the Guardians.
The game against San Diego, it was more of they didn't really have a game breaker.
There's no San Diego Chargers, only the San Diego Fleet.
Whatever. The game against the Chargers, they didn't really have a game breaker on offense. They just couldn't find that game-breaking play to give them momentum. And I think adding more speed to the offense to help. Like somebody like Tevin Coleman, somebody like Le'Veon Bell would look good in a Baltimore uniform.
What happens to Dez Bryant? Isn't he? He's on a 2-year deal with the Saints, right?
Dez Bryant might not play again. He tore his Achilles.
That's what, because I'm going through a feed here. I'm like, oh, there's Dez Bryant's name. Oh, that's right. He's still injured. He says he wants to play still. How will his body let him?
I don't think he comes back this year. The Achilles injury might take him the whole year to come back from. And then I think he's going to end up being another 30-plus free agent that just ran out of time because he got hurt at the inopportune time. It sucks to be Dez Bryant because he got hurt, but, injuries happen.
On an off note, I feel like you lied to me about Nick Boyle. He's been suspended twice in 4 years, and he has yet to have a receiving TD. And he's never had more than 28 catches in a season. What's safe?
Yeah, because he's a really good blocking tight end. He's going to play fullback this season pretty much. We have 2 receiving tight ends that we drafted last season, Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews. And it's going to be a lot of 2 tight end sets where it's Boyle and either Andrews or Hurst on the field. So you don't know if it's a run or the pass. And there's going to be a lot of times when Boyle's the fullback and both tight ends are going to be on the field and then they're going to throw the ball. Like Boyle got paid to be a glorified fullback to block.
H-back. He's an H-back.
Pretty much. They're going to run.
The Ravens are the NFL went small and fast on defense, so the Ravens were like, cool, we're going to run it 50 times a game.
Yeah, and we're going to run you over like this.
We're going to run a 4 tight end personnel. I don't know how they're going to line up, but it's going to be tight ends and running backs.
They're legitimately going to have 3 tight ends on the field, a lot of plays.
Well, New England is making that trip down to Baltimore, so it'll be a fun game to watch. Any other leftover NFL nuggets on your mind, man, before we hit free agency officially?
Not too much. I'm a lot more excited for this offseason than I was. And I think it's because Lamar Jackson's now the quarterback. And it's like something new that you kind of just like, I want to see him grow. I want the season to start now so I can see how much better he's going to get. It's having Joe Flacco was great, but Joe Flacco's been the same quarterback for the last 7-8 years. He's just been the same Joe Flacco for the last 10 years. So having a new guy that's like unquantifiable and you don't know what you're going to get, he might bust next season and be terrible. He might get figured out, or he might be the next coming of Mike Vick. Who knows? And that's what gets me excited because he's just unknown at this moment. Like I just want to watch him grow.
And the last point that we'll make before we head out here, what is it going to be? I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. What's going to be the transaction that, changes the league? Is there going to be that surprise signing? Is there going to be a trade out of nowhere? Are we going to see a swing of power?
If it is, it's going to be Oakland getting into something with Derek Carr, and Derek Carr going to a team that needs a quarterback that might give him a chance.
I.e., Derek Carr somehow getting traded to the Giants, and the Giants are right back in that playoff contender.
I think that's about it, because Pittsburgh is resigned to send Antonio Brown to the depths of freezing cold. So that's cool. Other than like Le'Veon Bell joining the Pats or something like that, that's the only thing that really would shift too much. But I don't think, I think Le'Veon Bell is just gonna go take the money, so he's gonna end up in like in the Colts or something like that, which might give the Colts like a good run for it. Or if like somebody like Kansas City goes after like Le'Veon or something like that. But like, I don't see that happening. I see him going for the money, so he's probably gonna end up like a 49er or something like that.
And with that being said, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to our NFL preview-ish news segment episode, whatever you want to call it. You can follow the show on Twitter at Bleach Preach Pod. We're also on Instagram at Bleacher Preacher Podcast as well. You can listen to the show on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, podcast app, not Spotify. I'm done with them. But please call us back, Tim Hortons. We want a good deal on some coffee. We'll put on Timmy H.
Tim Hortons, answer the DMs, please.
I've messaged the Canadian profile and the Americans, so I'm just waiting to hear back. If not, we're moving on to Dutch Bros. God, I missed that too. With that being said, we will catch up with you guys again after free agency cools down a little bit, see who's playing for what and for what money, and if Antonio Brown actually decides to show up to Buffalo. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.